Hi, I'm Tinny from Mini Bowl Design, and today I'm going to do a cooking video, but I'm going to do it a little different than I have in the past. Usually I use one of my pots, and I'm not going to use one of my pots this time. I'm going to use if I can find my water, there we go. I'm going to use need a cup and a half of water here for this project. Let me get this in here and then I'll beat my gum some more. I'm using a 0.85 liter kettle. Titan kettle, MSI Titan kettle, that's what I wanted to say. And I'm going to bring a cup and a half of water to a boil. Now I've got a recipe that I got off of a site. I think it's called One Pan Meals, One Pan Wonders, something like that. And this meal is chicken chow mein. Now there's a couple of things I've got to change here, and this is the very first time I've done it. You're watching the raw cut, and it ain't going to be pretty, but okay. One of the first things it calls for is a cup of either sobo, buckwheat noodles, or wheat noodles. I don't care for buckwheat, so I'm going with wheat noodles. Happen to find these in the ethnic food section at my local Shop and Save. Now my first conundrum here is, it says a cup of noodles. Well, I've got a cup and a half of water here, and I'm pretty sure that if I stand this right up on end, these noodles right up on end, I can probably get well over three-quarters of this package in here, and that's like 5 or 6 servings. So I know they don't want a cup packed in tight, so I really don't know what they want. So I'm just going to use 1 serving of noodles, which according to the direction on this package is 1/5 of this package, which is going to be a little dicey at best. It is in 3 bundles, so if I take a half a bundle, that should be 1/6, and then I'll take a little bit more to give me 1/5. Isn't math a great thing? And it said to break them up in 3.5 inch, so that's probably about right. That's 1/6. I'm going to call that 1/5, which is, for a first try, I think is a good effort. And I'm going to attempt to get the rest of these back in the package, which you and I both know is not going to work that well, but okay. Now, the second ingredient on my list is a 3-ounce can of chicken. Now it says to put that in after you boil the noodles, but to get to the point is, I looked everywhere and I couldn't find those little 3-ounce cans of any kind of meat whatsoever. I used to have them all the time. Walmart used to carry them, but I can't find them now. Nobody seems to carry them in my area, and Maine is kind of funny like that. They don't have a lot of variety sometimes. So instead of that, I was going to just take a 12-ounce can, which is pretty easy to come by, and open it up and take some out. But I noticed that those cans are fairly heavy, and I try, if at all possible, not to carry cans. So I took the 12-ounce can, and I dehydrated it. Broke it all up. There was almost 0 fat in it. It was very easy. Broke it up, and I ended up with an end product from a 12-ounce can, which was some pretty big chunks. It was really nice looking stuff. I shredded it all up and dried it, and I've got 2 ounces, just a little over 2 ounces of dried chicken. Now, although they said to put the canned chicken in after you boil the noodles, I'm going to use dried chicken, and I'm going to put it right in with the noodles so it'll have plenty of time to hydrate. Now, this is 12 ounces, and we want 3, 6, 9, 12, so I need about 1/4 of this package. And you and I both know that there's no way I'm going to get exactly 1/4, so I'm just going to grab some. That looks about right. Throw that in there. Okay. Now, if you were doing this to home to go on the trail, you'd be mixing this all up in 1 bag. Okay. Next thing was 2 tablespoons of dried veggies. Now, dried veggies, I don't know where you buy them. I guess you could probably buy them from one of the vendors. But I stole a couple of packages of dried vegetables out of some Yokohama or something, whatever, meals, kind of like a ramen noodle meal. And some of the girls don't always use the vegetables, and they leave them in my medicine cabinet drawer in the kitchen, so I just decided, hey, that'll work. So that takes care of the vegetables. Now, it was kind of vague on the spices. It didn't say to put them in afterwards, and it didn't say to put them in when you're cooking. So I'm going to put some of them in while I'm cooking. It calls for a half a tablespoon of chicken bouillon. Well, I don't have chicken bouillon, but I've got some of these things. They're called all natural, and they're a liquid bouillon, and I like them a lot better than the powdered bouillon. They're very full flavored. They're a liquid, and I'm going to put that in after I cook it. So, or maybe while it's cooking in with the water, but I'm not going to put it in here. Too messy. So we've got that. That's got to go in. Quarter teaspoon of garlic powder. Okay. Well, you know, it would have been really wise if I'd had a teaspoon, but I didn't. So, garlic's pretty easy stuff to work with. I'm going to wing it. It says quarter teaspoon. That's about that much, I'd say. Okay. 2 packets of soy sauce. The little packet you get at the restaurant, well, I didn't have any soy sauce packets, but I brought a 1-ounce bottle of soy sauce, and I'll squirt that in to taste when I get done. And I've got the 1.5 cups of water, and I think that's just about ready to go. Yeah, I'm going to let that come to a boil, then I'll turn the camera back on. Okay, that bongo's got this water boiling pretty wild. I got a good strong, oh yeah, good strong boil here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dump all this stuff in here and stir it, get it to lay down. And while I'm right there, I'm going to put my chicken bouillon in. Try not to drop the end of it in there. This is kind of weird stuff. It's kind of a pasty liquid. It doesn't, I gotta tell you, it doesn't look all that yummy, but it really does have a good flavor to it. Okay, so we're going to let that boil until the noodles are al dente, whatever that means. And then, I guess all I have to add, since almost everything else is in there, I've got the garlic powder in there. Let me see. I got to add the soy sauce. Garlic powder's in there. The bouillon's in there. Dried veggies are in there. Chicken's in there. Yeah. Once this all comes to a boil and the noodles are tender and the vegetables have fully rehydrated and the chicken's rehydrated, all I got to do is cool it down, squirt in some soy sauce to taste, and I'm ready to eat. So, once again, I'll shut the camera off, and when this is al dente, we'll turn the camera back on. Okay, while this was cooking, I read the directions, and it says these noodles only take about 4 minutes to cook, and it's been that long. So I'm looking at this, and I'm thinking that the chicken and the vegetables may not quite be ready yet, so I'm going to blow the heat out, take it off the heat, and it's too hot to eat anyway, so I'm going to slide the old squirrel cage off to the side here, and just let it set here for a while, and let the rest of the ingredients rehydrate. I don't think the noodles will be overcooked. They look pretty solid. So I'm going to let this set for, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes and let everything fully rehydrate. And then we'll turn it on to a taste test, and then I'm going to bed. Okay, from the time I put these into boil, I let them boil 4 minutes, and then they've been setting here for about 6 minutes. And in the 6 minutes, I'm glad I did this because the noodles hydrated up completely, picked up a lot of the water. It was a little thin. I thought I'd used too much water, but now that it's sat a little while, it looks about like it should. Almost looks like something you'd get in an Oriental restaurant. It's pretty exotic looking. Let me get the camera and get you a look at it here. Got all kinds of cabbage and carrots and beef and all kinds of stuff in here. Looks like almost like one of these Oriental meals that you get in a vacuum sealed package, and the noodles look really good. But the proof is in the pudding, so I've got to try this at least and see what we've got here. So here we go. I put a little soy in it. I was concerned that it didn't have any salt in it, but then I got thinking that the soy is very salty, so that's where the salt's going to come from. Now, I'm going to let this cool a minute before I bite into it. I noticed that the bongo scroll cage works very well with this Titan kettle. I would not hesitate a minute to use it with a Titan kettle. It brought the cup and a half of water to a boil extremely fast. Works. It's got a big bottom and absorbs a lot of heat. I'm not absolutely convinced that a spork is the way to go on this. I was afraid I wouldn't get all the vegetables and the meat with chopsticks. And it's still very hot. I'd recommend taking the lid off and letting this set for 10 minutes to cool down. Wow. That would definitely be something I would eat out on the trail. That's very good. It's very tasty. I wouldn't hesitate a minute on that, and it's quick. If you would have this all bagged up ahead of time, it'd be very fast. You could have it in 10 minutes. And it's kind of exotic for a backpacking meal, something I wouldn't normally carry. I don't usually get too complicated. I'm kind of a pancakes kind of guy, but no, this is very good. Very tasty. And the chicken is a little bit tougher than it would be right out of the can, but it kind of adds something to it. It's pretty tasty. I expected the chicken just to dissolve and go away, but no, it stood up really well. It hydrated well, and it has good flavor and pretty good texture. It's a little chewy. That's a definite keeper. I'm Tinny from Mini Bowl Design. Get out and hike. Take a friend. Enjoy the great outdoors. Enjoy your mini bowl equipment. And more important than anything, have a really great day. Bye-bye.